All right, I've been lucky enough to get a little more video time with Gerry Thompson, and we are going to cover a little bit more about Deck Tracker. I got to cover a lot of info basically about like how from the player's perspective and like why this might be applicable to him and much more casual players than him. I got to see sort of his output. But he has a lot of questions about Deck Tracker, even though people read the campaign, they don't always know, you know, the ins and outs of the product, and I'd like to, make that clear. And I think from somebody who, intelligent guy who's read the campaign and still has questions, it's nice to kind of hear what they are, and maybe I can just kind of run through some answers for him. So I'm going to have him kind of go over his issues and concerns with the product. I'll see if I can't clear up any misconceptions.
Yeah, so I just had a couple of questions, and the first one was like, how do you tell if the battery's going to run out? Because the first thought that I had was like, you say that the battery's going to last for a year, and I don't know if that means, like maybe it'll fall short by a couple months, and like the perfect storm will happen where like it just ends up dying while I'm in a tournament and someone decides to steal my stuff, like that's just a concern.
It would definitely suck to actually have Deck Tracker, and then the one time you want to use it, have the battery die. But
Yeah, exactly, right.
there's a function within the app on your phone which will alert you when the battery power is low, so you'll be able to change it in adequate time or whatever.
Okay, cool. The second one was I was talking about people that loan decks out to people just because they have a wide collection and some of their friends don't, and is it possible to like if you are the guy with the collection, can you just own a bunch of these devices and then transfer them to your friend's phone so that they can track these?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It really wouldn't be any different than buying a big, a slew of them and kind of dividing them on the team. If you owned all the devices, they can go down and they can go in and download the free app and then just sync it with your phone, sync it with their phone, and then they're up and running
And
using the
then and then
device.
you could just move it back to your phone also.
Yeah, you can just disconnect
Okay.
it and move back to your phone. But all they need basically is a pretty minimum requirement in this day and age. You just need an iPhone 4S or newer, or an Android 4.4 or newer. But basically, you can get up to 10 units can be tracked. 10 units can be tracked on one iPhone, and 4 units can be tracked on one Android. So that should be pretty exhaustive for any individual player.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I was just wondering about that, and then like maybe you get a new phone or whatever, and you just want to reset them and move them over. So yeah, that sounds good.
We can always say that big pause.
Yeah,
Did you have I don't know what to edit this for sure, but did you have any other questions? Was there anything else that you thought was relevant, or anything else like maybe even some campaign questions or just general product questions? Like I looked at this and like it seemed great, but
no, I mean like those were the first two things I thought of, and then someone else asked like what happens if you get deck checked, and my just don't steal your with
bandwidth
me
is
a story about how there were fake judges at a vintage tournament this year.
oh that's and they did a deck check and stole their decks.
Yeah, they just like put on like
Wow, I don't
black
know.
shirts and we're just like, oh, deck
Yeah,
check.
wow, that's
And I was
awesome.
like, well, I'm not sure if the tracker can help you with that, but if
Yeah,
you're
I don't
playing
know.
vintage, you should probably pay attention to your stuff also.
Yeah. That's a lot of people come back
Oh,
with concerns about very elaborate hoaxes to steal your deck, and I'm like, before it was super simple to steal someone's deck, and so now this makes it more difficult. I don't know if if Catherine Zeta-Jones isn't going to be able to like sidle under some lasers and steal your deck. I think that's probably going to happen. But I hope
yeah,
this will at least slow them down or help to prevent that.
yeah, yeah. And then I think he was like insinuating that like you might get a game loss or something for having this in your deck box because you get like game losses for having extra cards or whatever. But I was just like, that's ridiculous. So I don't know. People
So
are kind of
I think that in terms of that, like I know that after talking to Helen Bergio, that she really supports the product. So I think that Wizards is behind at least the idea of the
yeah. I
product.
saw her tweet.
So I don't think that Wizards officials are going to give you a whole lot of guff for having a device like this in your in your deck box to
Yeah,
protect
I
yourself.
didn't think so either. But I'm just sharing what people have said. That's it.
Someone had brought up the issue of not being able to get like a tweet in the middle of a match or a message in the middle of a match, but I don't think the issue of getting like an alert that you're. But hopefully, ideally, if you're sitting there in a match, you've got your deck and you're playing with it. So hopefully, it
Well,
wouldn't
right,
go
but
missing.
I mean, they could have sniped your bag from under your chair or
They
something.
definitely could have. Yeah, I know that one person tried to get on as a sponsor because they have one of the biggest significant single deck losses. Dave Williams, when he and his buddy got they had a real like operation, like a guy nothing with Magic as far as I know, took basically ran by, grabbed his and his opponent's bags at a vintage tournament, and ran out the fire exit to a waiting car. That's when they
Jesus.
tried to crack down on on exits, and they have like even at the SCG events now they have all that checking your bag number versus the number on your wrist and
Yeah,
all these security bars. Even that, you can just take someone's smaller bag and put it
and
in your
put it
bag.
in yours.
You could have 37 decks that weren't yours and say, "Oh, but my bag's got my number." I mean, I think that helps, but
It
it's
helps.
still
It also
pretty
creates the
small
illusion that
cost.
something is being done.
Yeah, and it also comes at a pretty big cost to those tournament organizers. I remember the one that I went to where I saw so many was Grand Prix Charlotte they had like 10 people at the door. I mean, even if you pay those guys just rock bottom minimum wages at
Yeah.
$5 an hour, you're looking at thousands of dollars for the weekend.
Yep, I remember that.
So hopefully this appeals also to tournament organizers, which means it'll be more conducive to them wanting to help, which will help the players, want to have the product or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be good. Just need more retweets.
Yeah. I've tried to get on there. I'm just whatever. Well, maybe it'll be a fun little B reel. But I've tried to get on there, and me and Andy were talking about like, you don't tweet angry. You just want to go on there and like somebody's like, this guy's being a douchebag and blah 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 blah, and we're just like, all right. If he has a concern, even if it's not a legitimate concern, he's like, this is just like the tile, or this is just like this other tracker. And we just go on there and say, it's not like the other tracker because of this and this and this. And you just kind of dissolve their arguments in the most sort of professional adult way you can. And I think bad publicity. I know my partner got really irritated that there was, people, bashing me for being the nosy goblin and bashing the product for being being a rip-off, and like the best thing you can do is just be professional and even joke around with them or whatever, and just basically tell them what's better about the product, why it addresses a need, and hope people like it. And if there's some bad publicity, that's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, so someone sent me that thing where it's just like, this is just like the tile, and I was like, well, I looked at Trey's thing, and I looked at this, and it seems different because one is just a GPS, and this prevents your stuff from getting stolen, so I don't know what to tell you, like, this seems way better, especially in the context of Magic.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only real difference, and there's some smaller differences, the only real difference is the 20-foot virtual. That's really where it's at. Everything else is a lost and found with a 100-foot range, and this has a 20-foot. That's pretty much the end-all, be honest. Really, like, basically, if you
but like
never thought anyone would steal your things, it's
the leash is the selling point. Yeah.
There is about four major differences that we had to change, but the main one that everybody's going to notice is a 20-foot leash. Other ones are the fact that we have to upgrade the speakers in the device because we're putting in a box and then putting the box in a bag, and then you have to hear it in a loud room. Whereas other devices are meant to be found in a quiet home.
When you're holding your breath and looking through your hamper or whatever, as opposed to somebody else who's hidden it in their bag and is trying to actively hide it from you or whatever.
Yeah, like I said, I could totally envision someone chasing someone through a crowd at a con, and you need this to be loud, for sure. So that's good.
Yeah. We don't want anybody chasing anybody through a crowd. We want them to go get the judge.
Well, Magic players aren't athletes. Come on, Jerry. Let's what kind of dream world are we living in?
Yeah, sure. But I mean, that might be another like technology thing for that separate video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the idea that we had was just basically people always said we don't want to show any kind of confrontations among Magic players, any kind of like anything ugly like that. The idea being that you notice someone has your deck, you kind of follow them, you go in and you talk to the judge, you say, I believe that John Doe over here has stolen my deck. I have deck tracker.
Accidentally picked up my deck.
Or accidentally picked up my deck. And he goes, really? How do you know? And you sound your phone, and then and then it alerts you, and then it's obvious that he has your deck.
Yeah, I hear you, and that's definitely better for like the campaign itself. But it's like if you're in a match and this thing, like your phone goes off saying that someone just stole your bag or whatever, like I'm not going to a judge, you know, like I'm running after that guy.
Jerry T. I want to see Jerry T. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. He's running down the aisle. He's just as he's getting ready to catch the guy, the foot comes out and trips him, and you know, and his lunch tray goes everywhere, and he's humiliated. But
and then I get pied.
yeah, exactly. But you almost had him. Yeah. But all right. Well, we'll see if we can't use some of this for some little bloopers. I know we had some funny stuff from when we filmed the deck tracker video, like at my house. You know, I don't know if you noticed from the van, Wakwatapa is just like has a huge smile on his face in the car the whole time.
Yeah,
nothing
I know.
Grinning the whole time. It's fucking great. Like it may not be realistic for the video, but it's just great. There's a Cheshire cat grin on the whole time. We probably found the one where he's the least smiley, and it's just like you think he knew he was going to be in the Hall of Fame, which is well deserved.
Yeah. No, he was just excited because you guys were going to a Magic tournament. That's all.
Yeah, he was. And we were down to a Magic tournament, and nobody had stolen his stuff. That's why he was so happy.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, thanks so much, Jerry T. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just let me know if you need anything else.
Yeah, I will probably send you a copy of this video and let you endorse this maybe and see if you think this is good for air. You know, make sure you got your good side, which is pretty much any side. I think.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Well, we'll see how it goes. All right, thanks a lot, Jerry. I appreciate it.